Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are opening up a truly fascinating spiritual rulebook that honestly promises to change the way you look at absolutely everything. We're going to break down Florence Scovel Shinn's classic concepts from The Game of Life and how to play it. So, if you're looking for a clear, actionable guide to actually winning at life, you are in exactly the right place. But first, take a second and ask yourself, how do you view your existence right now? Is it a constant, grueling battle? I mean, for most of us, there's this almost universal belief that life is just one long uphill struggle, where you basically have to fight tooth and nail for every single inch. But what if that assumption is just entirely wrong? Well, Florence Scovel Shinn completely flips that idea on its head. She famously stated that life is not a battle, it's a game. And specifically, it's a spiritual game of giving and receiving. Now, like any game, you obviously can't win if you don't know the rules, but once you learn the spiritual laws that govern this game, you can completely master it. Okay, let's dive into this. To master the game, we're going to cover 5 specific tutorial chapters today. First, the game of life. Second, the 3 levels of mind. Third, the law of the boomerang. Fourth, non-resistance. And finally, winning with divine grace. Starting with Chapter 1, the game of life, and setting up the playing field. See, the playing field of this game isn't the physical world at all. It's actually entirely within our own imagination. Shinn refers to the imagination as the scissors of the spirit. It is constantly, day in and day out, snipping away, cutting out the images you form in your mind. And eventually, those exact images materialize right into your external reality. This means our imagination is literally shaping our physical world. So, to play successfully, we have to train our minds to visualize only the good. Things like health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Let's move to Chapter 2, the 3 levels of mind, and how we process this game. To play effectively, we really need to understand the hardware we're working with here. Our mind basically operates on 3 distinct levels. First, there's the conscious mind. This is your mortal mind that looks at the physical world and sees all the limitations, disaster, poverty, death. Then there's the superconscious. That's the divine spirit within us, holding the perfect plan and perfect destiny for our lives. But the absolutely crucial one to understand is the subconscious. The subconscious is pure power without direction. It's kind of like steam or electricity. It's this incredibly faithful servant that just executes whatever you impress upon it, and, this is key, it has absolutely zero sense of humor. This anecdote brilliantly illustrates the danger of having such a literal subconscious. Shinn shares this striking story about a wealthy woman who was just so exhausted from managing her beautiful home and all her stuff, so she kept repeating as a joke, "I am sick of all these things, I would like to live in a trunk." Well, her subconscious took her completely literally. It executed the order without a second thought. Soon after, she lost everything and literally ended up living out of a trunk. Your words are powerful commands in this game. Which brings us right to Chapter 3, the law of the boomerang. This is the core mechanic. Because our minds process everything so literally, we have to understand the main engine driving the gameplay. You've probably heard the phrase, whatever a man sows, he will reap, right? Well, in the game of life, this means whatever you put out there, through your words, your actions, your thoughts, will be returned to you with absolute, undeniable precision. Sow hate, and you're going to receive hate. Sow love, reap love. Criticize, and you'll be criticized. It is the ultimate law of giving and receiving. To really anchor this concept, there's another fascinating story from the text. A woman received a counterfeit bill from her bank, and she was understandably incredibly upset about it. But then she remembered something. She had recently sent a fake coin to a friend as a practical joke. It was just a joke to her. But as we just learned, the law of the boomerang, much like the subconscious mind, doesn't do jokes. She sent out fake currency, so the universe returned fake currency right back to her. You get exactly what you give. All right, Chapter 4, the art of non-resistance. Let's talk advanced tactics. So, if we get exactly what we give, how are we supposed to handle the inevitable obstacles and, well, enemies in the game? Shinn's advice is simple but profound. Do not resist evil. Why? Because evil or obstacles only actually have power when we give them power through our own fear and resistance. Think of the Chinese metaphor of water. Water is arguably the most powerful element because it's perfectly non-resistant. It flows over, under, or around things, and it can literally erode solid rocks simply because it doesn't fight it. When you face a threat, Fighting it just locks you into a bitter struggle. So what does this look like practically? Step 1, stop resisting the situation. Step 2, literally bless the obstacle and call it success. And step 3, just watch the problem dissolve. There's a great story here about a woman anxiously waiting for a really critical phone call. She was super tense, refusing all other calls, just trying to force the situation. And her anxiety actually caused the phone line to go completely dead. When she finally realized she was resisting, she stopped, blessed the delay as a success, and claimed she was under divine protection. Almost instantly, a total stranger went out of their way to report the outage, the line was fixed, and her call came right through. Non-resistance cleared the path. Finally, Chapter 5, Winning with Divine Grace. This is your ultimate cheat code. Now, you might be wondering, what if I've already thrown a bunch of bad boomerangs? Am I just doomed? The crucial thing to know is that we aren't permanently trapped by our past mistakes. There is actually a law higher than the law of karma, and that's the law of grace. It's the spiritual law of forgiveness and love. By replacing our fear with absolute faith and our resentment with love, we can quite literally wipe the slate clean and override that negative karma. Let me share a quick, incredible story that puts this into perspective. Shinn tells of this exhausted, totally discouraged woman who came to her with exactly $8 to her name. $8. Instead of panicking, Shinn told her to bless the money, just as Jesus multiplied the loaves and fishes, and to just follow her intuition. Well, the woman's intuition told her to use that money to travel home, even though pure logic dictated she should stay in New York and hustle for work. But here is the secret to winning the game. She acted in active faith. By spending her last $8 to travel, she was preparing for the blessing before it even arrived. On her trip, she miraculously bumped into an old family friend, which directly led to her receiving thousands of dollars. Her active faith is what unlocked the abundance. We see this again with a guy who was down to his last $700. He felt this incredibly strong intuition to go out and buy a $500 coat. Reason said it was completely foolish, but he acted in pure faith anyway. Buying that coat gave him such a profound consciousness of prosperity that it entirely broke his poverty mindset. Within a month, he attracted a $10,000 check. He didn't just hope for a win, he acted as if he had already won. So the takeaway here is that to truly win this game, we have to act without fear and radically change how we view the people around us. You have to be able to say, every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. Everyone you meet, even your apparent enemies or competitors, is actually a perfectly placed piece in your divine plan, helping you towards your ultimate success, if you just choose to see it that way. So let's wrap this up. We've learned that the playing field is your own imagination. Your subconscious takes you literally, and the universe perfectly reflects whatever you give to it. Armed with this knowledge, you're no longer the victim of a grueling battle. You are a master player in a spiritual game. Which leaves us with one final, very important question to think about. What kind of boomerang are you throwing out into the world today? Choose wisely, play boldly, and I'll see you in the next explainer.